This is Abbey Latin, Liber Secundus, caput vicesimum primum, chapter 21, Morphology, the fourth declension, masculine, feminine, and neuter. Welcome back. Let's review the parts of speech. They are noun, pronoun, adjective, verb, adverb, preposition, conjunction, and interjection. We will focus this lesson on nouns. The fourth declension. So let's review what's a declension. A declension is a group or family of nouns. Nouns in a declension tend to look like each other. They tend to share the same endings with each other. A noun within a declension cannot leave that declension. When you're looking at the dictionary entry of a noun, you'll be given the nominative singular, the genitive singular, the gender, and the English definition. You can tell the declension of a Latin noun by looking at the genitive singular form. Usually you will be given as just, if it can be abbreviated, you'll just be given the genitive singular ending. If not, if it's a stem changer, then the dictionary should give you the entire stem, or it should give you the entire genitive singular form, and then you determine the stem. So the base or stem of a noun is also found by looking at the genitive singular. The nominative is important, but that's not really what we're going to focus on. That's not really where the party's at, because the declension of a noun is found by looking at the genitive singular form, and the base or stem of a noun is found by looking at the genitive singular form. So for the first declension, the genitive singular ends in an AE pronounced I. So puella, I, feminine. This is an abbreviation for puella, puellae, feminine. Most nouns of the first declension are feminine. A handful are masculine, like agricola, I, masculine. Now, there's no difference in declension, as in there's no difference in endings between the majority of the feminine nouns and then the handful of the masculine nouns. So puella, I, feminine, and agricola, I, masculine. The genitive singular is an AE pronounced I. For second declension, like amicus, E, masculine, the genitive singular ending is a long I pronounced E. Note that amicus, the nominative ending us, is the most common for these masculine nouns. You can also have nominatives which end in er, like puer, pueri, or ager, agri. And also nouns that the nominative ends in ir, like wir, wiri, masculine. Now the genitive singular is still ends in long I pronounced E. So pueri, agri, and viri, like amicus, amici, masculine. So once again, the genitive singular is important because it's stable, whereas nominatives, they tend to vary even within the same declension track. The second declension also has a neuter track. So bellum e neuter, meaning warfare. So it's neuter. It will have slightly different endings from the masculine forms. This is different from the first declension where feminines and masculines, they share the same endings. There's no difference between them. So this also illustrates the importance of you have to memorize the gender of a noun as it's given to you in the dictionary. Third declension, like pater, patris, masculine, or mater, matris, feminine. So masculines and feminines of the third declension, they share the same endings. The genitive singular is an is for the third declension, so is. The neuter also has is, but it will have endings different, slightly different from the masculine and the feminines. Third declension also has that I stem track, where under certain rules or circumstances, the noun has slightly different I stem endings. The genitive singular, however, is still in is, pronounced is. So example, civis, civis, and then urbs, urbis, animal, animalis, neuter. So the neuters for I stems are also slightly different from this is masculine, feminines forms. So here we go. Shazam, fourth declension. This is new. First, second, and third declension should be review. Fourth declension, this is the new stuff. As exemplars, we have usus us masculine, manus us feminine, and cornu us neuter. Okay, so masculines and feminines, they share the same endings, whereas neuters have slightly different track. Notice that us along us is the genitive singular for the fourth declension. So the fourth declension has nouns whose genitive singular ends in a long us, so us. If a noun has an us in the genitive singular, then the noun belongs to the fourth declension. Example, usus us masculine, which means use, advantage, or experience. Majority of fourth declension nouns are masculine, but a handful of them are feminine. For example, manus, the Latin word for hand, is feminine. Manus us feminine. Names of some plants and trees, they tend to be feminine. Hopefully you noticed in your vocab that domus us feminine. It's a fourth declension feminine. It also has some weird forms that we'll talk about in a few minutes. The feminines are declined the exact same as the masculine. However, the few neuters that are in the fourth declension, they have their own fourth declension neuter endings. And here are the endings. So for fourth declension masculine, majority masculine, and a handful of feminine, the endings are us, ui, u, us, ibus, ibus. Now note that the dative and ablative plural ibus, the I can be replaced by u, so ubus is an alternative. It tends to be the predominant form with a couple words, often neuters. Like I've seen cornubus instead of cornibus. I just say the same word twice. And then I've seen pecubus instead of pecibus. So pecu, the word for cattle. Dative and ablative plural tends to be pecubus with a u instead of an I. But I is still the predominant ending. You could see a U. Don't freak out if you see one. It's fine. Okay, so usus us masculine could be our example for a masculine, or manus us feminine is our example of a feminine. So exactly the same way as you've always been taught. Usus, there's the nominative. Usus, there's the genitive. Chop off the genitive ending. You got the stem us. We write down the stem. Here it is bolded and in red. And then we add fourth declension masculine because we know by the genitive singular that's fourth declension, and then masculine. The endings are us, ui, u, us, ibus, ibus. We're going to add these endings to the stem us to get usus, usui, usum, usu, usus, usum, usibus, usus, usibus. All right, check out these neuters over here. Cornu, us, neuter. The endings for the neuters are oo, us, oo, No, there's nothing wrong with the audio. Ua, ibus, ibus. And once again, that I in the ibus, dative and ablative plural, could be replaced by a u to get ubus. Cornu is an example of a fourth declension neuter. Cornu, cornus, cornu, cornua, cornuum, cornibus, cornua, cornibus. All right, let's check out domus, because domus is one of the few irregular Latin nouns. Domus us feminine is transdeclensional, meaning it has 1 foot in the fourth declension and 1 foot in the second declension. It's still, even though it has some masculine looking forms, it's still feminine. The more popular forms I've given you are the first given. So the dative domui is more popular than sin domo, whereas the ablative domo, arigato, is more popular than what you would normally see, domu. So the forms are domus, domus, domui, domum, domo, domus, domuum, domibus, domos, domibus. Remember that this word does not take any prepositions. So if you wanted to say, I am going home, even in English, we tend not to use the preposition here. Kind of sounds weird to say, I am going to home. So even in Latin, you don't use the preposition with this word. It would just be domum eo. I go home. I am going home. All right, cool. Let's watch a younger guy practice this. Practice again. So let's practice. This time we'll do usus, us, masculine. Use, advantage, also mean experience, custom, habit. What you're used to do. Okay, so this is the dictionary entry. You're given the nominative singular, so nominative singular, this guy, so usus goes right there. You're given the genitive singular ending only, us. That means that the stem does not change, so the stem is just us, so it's usus. It's a masculine noun, so looking at the genitive singular, us, that's fourth declension, and masculine. So the endings are us, ui, u, us, ibus, us, ibus. And I could swap out that ibus for ubus if I wanted, but I really don't. Okay, usubus. Actually, I kind of like usubus. All right, anyway, so go to the genitive form right here, chop off that genitive singular us. We get the stem us. And we're going to write that stem 8 times in these blanks. There we go. Now we're going to add those fourth declension masculine endings. Us, ui, u, us, ibus, us, ibus. Fantastic. Let's go ahead and give the neuter a try, because it's so difficult. So let's practice again, but this time with the noun genu, us, neuter, meaning knee. So here's the dictionary entry. Here's the nominative singular genu. Here's the ending for the genitive singular us, and then neuter gender. So it's a fourth declension neuter. We can go ahead and put the nominative singular down unchanged, genu. And then we put down the genitive singular. Let's put it on the stem, genus. We know that's the stem because, well, the dictionary did not see fit to write out the entire thing. They thought they could abbreviate it, so they did. Saved a little space. Chop that us off of the genitive singular form to get the stem gen. We're going to write gen in the 8 other blanks, cha, and then add fourth declension, make sure it's neuter, fourth declension, neuter endings. And these are really, really difficult. So, oo, us, oo, ooh, ooh, ooah, ibus, ooah, ibus. To get genu, genus, genu, 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 genua, genuum, genibus, genua, genibus. Optime, very well done. You are now ready to move on to chapter 21, exercise A. Valete omnes.